All right, so this is the Austrian Grand Prix race review. So before the race started, we believed that it was only going to be a one stop. Luckily, it was a two stop. There was multiple passes. There was a lot of action during the race. There was a lot of drama, and it was an amazing race to see. Obviously, it was not as great as Silverstone. During the race, we saw that the FIA was strict with track limits. They issued multiple warnings, they issued some penalties, and personally, I do not have a problem with this. I do not mind them being strict with track limits. I believe that as F1 fans, it has been a complaint for quite a few years now, but we have also complained of how inconsistent the FIA is. If we saw them be strict with track limits every single race weekend, I wouldn't mind this. But it was a surprise of how strict they were, and it's just inconsistent. It wouldn't be a surprise if it happened every single weekend, but it just goes to show that the FIA has not changed at all since last year, and it's just sad to see. And that's the end of my FIA rant. On a more positive note, let's go over the results of the race. So we're going to start from 20th place and then go down to the winner of this race. All right, so our first DNF is Sergio Perez. So he started 5th and he took an unnecessary risk. He ended up being hit by George Russell, and later on he had to retire because the car had too much damage. Also, I think it is pretty funny that there has been 3 Red Bull crashes in that corner in the past 3 years. 2020 Alex Albon, 2021 Sergio Perez, and this year he did the same mistake. Our second DNF of the race was Nicolas Latifi. Apparently he had some damage. He had trouble braking in some corners, and the team just believed that it was too dangerous for him to continue. Our last DNF of today was Carlos Sainz, and honestly this was the heartbreak of the weekend. He had an engine blow up. We also saw some footage of him trying to get out of the car and struggling with that. So overall, I'm glad he's okay, but also it is interesting to see that Ferrari has not got their reliability issues fixed. It's also a heartbreak because Sainz was actually about to pass Max before the engine broke, and it is extremely disappointing for him since he has been extremely consistent this weekend and he was having a great race before this incident. In 17th place, we have Sebastian Vettel. He was possibly set for points before getting hit by Gasly, and after that contact, his race was ruined. In 16th place, we have Yuki Tsunoda. It is another poor race weekend for Yuki. He didn't look competitive all weekend, and it didn't seem like he was on the pace. On a positive note, he didn't crash into his teammate, so that's great. In 14th place, we had Zhou Guanyu. In 13th place, we had Lance Stroll. In 12th place, we had Alex Albon. And in 11th place, we had Valtteri Bottas. There was not a lot of broadcast time around them. We saw them a few times together, battling each other. And overall, it was an okay race for all of these drivers. Valtteri just missed out of the points. Someone who did have an amazing race in 10th place is Fernando Alonso. He ended up taking a new power unit after he had electrical issues yesterday. He started 20th in the grid and ended up getting points. Wow, what a race for Fernando Alonso. In 9th place, we have Daniel Ricciardo, which is extremely surprising after the pace that they had on Friday. The McLaren looked absolutely nowhere, and surprisingly, Daniel got points. In 8th place, we have Kevin Magnussen. He was battling a lot today. It's great to see him in the points. Apparently, during the race, he was managing an engine issue. In 7th place, we have Lando Norris. He received a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, but he had an amazing race. He again beats his teammate. The McLaren looked absolutely nowhere on Friday, and it is amazing to see that both of the McLarens got points. In 6th place, we have Mick Schumacher. We saw him score his first points last race, and it seems like that gave him a confidence boost. In 5th place, we have Esteban Ocon. He had another great race. The Alpine definitely looked like the 4th fastest team this weekend. In 4th place, we have George Russell. The Mercedes did not look as fast as they did last race weekend. He also received a 5-second time penalty for that contact with Sergio Perez. In 3rd place, we have Lewis Hamilton. He has been on it this weekend. Besides that crash on Friday, both Mercedes have been extremely consistent, and Lewis Hamilton has 2 podiums in a row. In 2nd place, we had Max Verstappen, but the Red Bull definitely definitely did not look as fast as they did yesterday in the sprint race. They tried everything. They did 2 pit stops in order to try to battle the Ferraris, but the Ferraris were just way too quick for Max Verstappen. He reported a lot of issues with the car and couldn't find the right balance. In first place, we have Charles Leclerc. Obviously, Red Bull threw everything they had against Leclerc and they couldn't compete against him. It was not a straightforward win for Leclerc. In the last few laps, there was a lot of reliability issues and it was definitely a stressful moment for all the Ferrari fans. Overall, Leclerc did an amazing job today and he completely deserves the win today. It is crazy to think that last time Leclerc won was in Australia and last time he was in the podium was in Miami. Overall, this is a important win for the championship and we'll see if the Ferrari can continue in this form for the next race. Alright, so a quick look on the driver standings. We have Max Verstappen in first place with 208 points with a 38-point lead on Charles Leclerc in second place with 107 points. In the team standings, we have Red Bull Racing with 359 points with a healthy lead of 56 points on Ferrari with 303 points. There will not be a race on this upcoming weekend. We have a week off and we will be back on July 22nd for the Lenovo Grand Prix de France, the French Grand Prix, and we will be having a French Grand Prix review. So see you next time.